Okay, it is time on that Monday to reveal our surprise celebrity guest. I am very excited about this person, okay? So your clues, everybody, were dermatologist, cosmetic surgeon, and pus. Okay? Pus is my favorite one. Okay, so she's not afraid to drain some of the biggest pimples, tackle some of the worst skin conditions. Please welcome back to the PIX11 Morning News, celebrity dermatologist, cosmetic surgeon, Dr. Sandra Lee, also known as Dr. Pimple Popper. Good morning to you. How are you?
Hi, how are you guys? It sounds like there's a bunch of people over there.
We brought everybody in for you because everybody loves you and everybody's fascinated by you. So let's start off with an easy question, okay? Because we're a lot of makeup to be here on camera. When I get home, there's little pimples. You think maybe toothpaste on it. I heard that's an old wives' trick. What is the quickest way to get rid of a pimple or a blemish?
The quickest way is to have a dermatologist on call because we can inject an active pimple and make it go down within 24 hours, but a lot of us don't have that. So I would have to say it's better to get like a spot treatment, like an acne spot treatment. You can find them over the counter, benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid, put that on the area. It's better than toothpaste. It's going to help to dry it out and actually treat the pimple. The other thing you might want to use is like a little pimple patch, you know, like a little Band-Aid on the area so that you will less likely pick the area. Those are my two big tips.
Okay.
And you know when they turn up that little white head, which is really gross, right? And you're like, do I leave it alone? Because I've been taught, don't mess with it. Let it just do its thing. But others are like, no, you can't walk around with that white head on you. You got to squeeze that puppy. What's the best order of action here?
Bop it.
Well, this is exactly the dilemma, right? We know that we're not supposed to pick at them, but how can you resist when there's something there like it's just beckoning you, right? It's just, I mean, and you feel like, how do I can't even go out with this thing. So I try to tell people not to pop pimples, just like any other dermatologist would, but I also try to, explain why, and there's an ideal time, probably the best time to minimize the risk of infection or scarring, and that is when it is a whitehead like that, when it is what we call a pustule, because it's the most superficial on the skin. Like if you traumatize the skin, the more deeply you traumatize in general, the more risk you have of scarring.
Now, why can we get real gross for a second? Not as gross as some of the things on your show, but sorry everybody at home, if you're eating your Cheerios, why do some of them, when you squeeze them, why do some of them pop and they squeeze and they fly out onto the mirror? I call them mirror poppers.
The John Belushi.
Versus some of them that just kind of ooze.
Yeah. Well, it's like a garden hose, right? Like if you squeeze, if it's under pressure and you squeeze and you have a smaller opening, or if there's a balloon that you've blown up much bigger and like much more taut and tight, that's gonna create more of a projectile sort of pimple, I would have to say. So I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you squeeze something really hard, that can happen. And let me tell you, if it happens at work and you don't have a splash screen on, it kind of ruins the day. Like,
that's why those face masks.
The next office we have, I have to put a shower in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead, Ben.
I had horrible. I was on Accutane 3 different times at the maximum strength when I was a kid. I had horrible cystic acne, and I was told that a hot compress on like an under the skin, like a cystic under the skin one, works. And sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. But what do you think?
Right. I mean, yeah, what the warm compress does is it can help to increase the speed of it getting to the surface of the skin. So even if you have what we call an abscess or what people call a boil, like an inflamed cyst or something angry under the skin, it kind of can help it to just come to the surface. Because imagine we're trying to get all that negativity, all that pus out of the body.
Right.
And that's when you're going to feel better, because that pressure on your skin is what's causing you pain and discomfort. And once you get all that out, that's going to help you. And that's what we're just trying to do there.
Oh, gosh.
Release the demon.
Marisol.
Yeah, but it's great that you were on Accutane, right? It really does help.
And
it sounds like you had pretty...
Yeah,
you had pretty bad acne, but that's what is the best treatment for it, really. That's the thing that can do things that nothing else can.
Yeah.
Dr. Lee, your Instagram page is a lullaby for me.
Yes. Oh, I love it.
I am dying to know who is your photographer, because I love this person. Also, do any of these extractions ever smell? Real talk.
Okay, so the second one, some of them might smell, but I don't smell them.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't put my nose down there, certainly. I try to, but some things can smell, and I would say the things that may smell are more things that are inflamed, or if there's bacteria involved, like there's a potential infection, that can have an odor. You know, that's what bacteria does on our skin. In terms of like who does my Instagram, I mean, I do a lot of my Instagram. I'm actually really big on TikTok now. That's me doing that. Because I've always loved to put my videos to music, like Frank Sinatra under my skin, you know, like
pop
a lot of
artist.
pop it.
The thing
so it's really kind of fun and creative.
The thing you posted the other day, people are calling it the cauliflower pimple. It was horrendous to watch, but so satisfying at the same time. I loved it. No, don't you worry. I loved it. I want to talk about your new season as well, so we're going to play a quick clip, and then we'll get to some more questions.
Okay. Let's take a look here. You want to lift up your pants there? I see. It looks really itchy.
Yes.
And it looks like they're just like abraded. Like you must just go town when you're sleeping or something.
I do.
You know? Okay, that's pretty. Oh, sorry. It's really.
It's okay.
It's really swollen here too, huh?
Yes. This stays pretty inflamed.
It's been scratched a lot. And
So that's actually mild.
man, if you just hear the voice, it's like a little messed up. If I don't see the video with the voice, or maybe
Wait,
saw the video,
that's like
that would be
what was
messed up, too.
happening with her leg?
I don't even know because I don't see.
Oh,
I
you
think
don't
that
see
she
it.
had. I think this is the woman with eczema,
Yeah.
like an eczematous plaque on her leg. I mean that's actually not an uncommon thing. That is a pretty standard thing that we dermatologists see compared to some of the other crazy cases that I've, the one and only that I've seen in my career, or certainly the biggest thing that I've seen in my career. So that's something that's more straightforward. But yeah, that's what's so, isn't dermatology fascinating?
I
just
love
thought
it.
that so many people be so interested in our specialty, which I feel like is more relatable than other medical specialties because we all know what skin looks like. We all know what normal skin looks like. So that's what, that's what I think allows me to connect with the audience.
OG.
Oh, well, I have a question about toners and then like a comment because after I watch, I love watching blackhead extractions.
Yeah.
So at one time after watching your extractions, I went on and I started looking for stuff on my face.
God.
I was telling my muchacha I was done. I had my face was all red. I was so mad I wasn't finding enough stuff and I find one. I'm all excited. But I shouldn't be doing that, she told me. Now I know not to do that. But toners, someone said that if you had to take something, but it's so much fun. But someone said if you had to take something out of your beauty routine, it has to be toners because it does nothing. Is it true?
No, that's not necessarily true. I think it has a lot to do with your skin type. Like toners usually are best with oily complected people because they feel like their skin, because a lot of toners are sort of alcohol based too. They kind of, remove a lot of the oil or sort of degrease your skin, we say, so somebody who's really dry, they might want to eliminate that, especially if they get really dry from their skin regimen. But somebody who's really oily, they can use it. They may be able to use it multiple times in a day. So it really depends on your skin type.
So I just was listening to some of your previous interviews prior to today. We're almost out of time here, but I have to know, why does touching and cooking chicken, why is that the thing that grosses you out?
Yeah, of all this.
Like, of all the things that you do,
Because
right?
it's like a lipoma. I can't.
Huh?
Yeah, it's so interesting because. Oh, sorry.
No. Please.
Did I interrupt you? Okay. Well, because I'll give you an example. I can talk about cysts. I can be there doing a cyst extraction and go, oh my gosh, this looks like egg salad, and then I can say, oh, that's what I'm having for lunch. And we can talk about being hungry. But the funny thing is, the opposite doesn't work. Like we have these cupcakes that look a lot like cysts or pimples, and they're delicious, but I cannot look at it and eat it. Like I mean, that just mentally does not, my brain, it's like, what are you doing? So I have to close my eyes or mash it into something. So it's the same kind of thing. Like a lipoma looks a lot like a chicken breast cutlet.
100% agree.
So I cannot touch that with my bare hands because I would never do that at work.
It's so interesting. Maybe that's why I hate mayonnaise.
That
Because
could be.
of-
Yes.
yeah.
That could be.
It's like
reminded of cysts?
all those
Yeah.
pimples
No,
I
a
pop.
therapist.
Mayo is the
Oh,
plus
gosh,
of condiments.
Oh my gosh. We love you. Thank you for
Yes,
coming back.
thank
Thank you for
you.
putting
Good
up
to
with
see
us.
you.
Dr. Lee.
Dr.
I'll
Lee.
have to come in. I'll have to come in person next time and bring
Yes,
some pimples with
and
me.
check our
Awesome.
skin.
Oh my gosh, we would love for you to do that. By the way, you can see more of Dr. Pimple Popper at work on all new episodes of Dr. Pimple Popper on Wednesday nights on TLC. Dr. Lee, thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Congrats again.
Thank you.
I love her. Love her. Fascinated by
The
her.
audience is like sharing still.
By the way, if you have a question that you want answered, just like all of these guys right here, send me your questions, okay? I want to know at PIX11.com, and we will try to book a guest based off of your question.